Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Holly Bellabono. I am thrilled to be here with you all, and especially to see so many faces that are familiar, friends, people I've worked with before. Hi, Tina. Yeah, super happy to see you all. Hi, Tara. Hi, Shankari. Um, this is an event that we've been planning for quite a while that is just near and dear to my heart. I have been really eager to talk with the amazing women I know, especially who run businesses, creative women entrepreneurs, and get their stories and get their feedback and understand what makes them tick. Mostly because in the nearly 30 years that I've been leading retreats and running workshops and running different businesses, I realized that the topic that I teach, which is generally herbal medicine, but also women's empowerment and wellness, isn't nearly as important as actually women coming together and connecting. It really almost doesn't even matter what the topic is. It could be how to make peanut butter, probably. And the connection of women coming together and supporting each other is the critical piece that without that, it's a loss. And I find that a lot of women feel isolated and alone in their businesses. A lot of us are solopreneurs. A lot of us are just kind of moving our business forward ourselves alone as best we can. And to have a connection, especially of other amazing women around us, makes a huge, huge difference. So today, we're hosting this women's coffee circle, and actually where I am, it's 84 degrees and 2 in the afternoon, so it's way too hot for coffee. But I'm super glad that you're here, because what we really want to do is I want to introduce you to some of the women that I've been interviewing, and I have some questions lined up for them. And we're going to talk about certain topics that are really important to creative women entrepreneurs. So I'm going to get started. The agenda for today is we did have 4 guest speakers. One, Elizabeth Whalen, unfortunately has landed herself unexpectedly in the hospital and is unable to join us today. So please join me in sending her an energetic get well soon. Hope she feels better quickly. So we have 3 guest speakers, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk with each guest speaker one-on-one, and then after everyone's shared, we're going to open it up to you all for a Q&A so that you can ask our speakers anything you'd like. And then I'm going to share about what we're launching today, which is the Cell Entrepreneur Network. So I am excited to introduce, we are going to start with Kia Guimarães. Did I get it right? I've been getting tutoring on how to pronounce Kia's lovely last name.
Guimarães, yes.
Guimarães. Kia is an old friend of mine, and herbal goddess in her own right. She lives in Hawaii, which is why we scheduled this for 2 o'clock today, so that our friends in Hawaii and on the West Coast could join us. So Kia runs an incredible business called Ecotone Kauai. I'm going to ask you, Kia, to share a little bit about what your business is and what you do. And then my topic for you, for everyone here today, is finding authenticity and meaning in your work. And the reason I'm asking you that is because I think you do it very well. And so I think you're someone that we can all learn from in that regard. My question to you is going to be, how do you balance creativity and inspiring, meaningful work with entrepreneurship, with running a business and bringing in revenue? How do you find that balance? So just so everybody knows, we've got about 7 minutes per participant. So it'll be a nice little flow, and then we'll have questions afterwards. So Kia, please introduce yourself.
Aloha, kakahiaka, everyone. It is 8 in the morning in Kauai. I'm zooming in from the east side of the island, beautiful rainy side, wet side, as opposed to the drier side. And it's a gorgeous morning, and I do have my coffee. So thank you for all coming. And of course, thank you so much, Holly, for gathering these beautiful witches together and entrepreneurs and witch entrepreneurs and mermaid witches and all of us. I think we can learn a lot from each other, and just by being connected, it strengthens the energetic field. I can already feel it. So good morning. Thank you. Aloha. Well, maybe I'll start with just your question, and then I'll wind into what I'm doing and how I'm bringing authenticity of who I am into my business or my vocation. I love the topic, Holly, and I think it's at the core of everything as women we really are seeking to do in this world. It reminds me of a Lao Tzu quote that says something like, at the center of your being, you know the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. The great work is, of course, how do you get to the center of your being? How do you manifest that into the world? How do you create a vocation, a job, a work that is in line with that center? And I'm also reminded by one of your quotes from one of your books, Holly, and I think it was from your text for the herbal intensive that I did, but I honestly, it comes to me all the time and I just love it. And it said, herbalism is a lifelong path, or no, herbalism is a lifelong pursuit, lifelong path, and one worth pursuing. And I love that because it encapsulates the idea of patience and time in discovering your center and then bringing that forth. So for me, this has been a lifelong pursuit of really discovering who I am and marrying that with what I want to bring to the community and what I want to bring to the world at large. And if all those things in a spiral can kind of harmonize and line up, then I know that what I'm doing to, quote, make money or use my time, which time is the cost of everything in our lives. So that use of time as your main resource in your life, as a businesswoman, as a human, is really the big question. And it took me traveling around the world 4 times and becoming a documentary filmmaker and getting 2 master's degrees and working with indigenous peoples from the Navajo Nation to West Africa and Mali, healers there. And then coming home to my spiritual home and to my home in Kauai, finally, to really make that a reality, and then think very carefully and slowly and be like the plants and grow slowly and think, how will I and what should I bring forth into my community? So for me, I started practicing a herbalist consult business with women in my community, both Native Hawaiian women, elders, and women going through puberty, premenopause, and postmenopause. And in doing that with my local community on Kauai, I really started seeing that there was a need for Native Hawaiians and also people of other ancestry that have been here for generations to reconnect to their ancestral knowledge of the land here in Kauai, in Hawaii Nei. And so it became very clear to me through that work, and also having traveled as much as I did, that my passion and my feeling of healing the planet comes down to our connection to the ground beneath our feet. And how would I make a living or a product, if it was a product, if it was a consult business, if it was teaching, how would I help open that portal for other women, especially women, to reconnect to the ancestral knowledge we all have as humans? It's not ancestral based on the bloodline of being Hawaiian or being Chinese or Polynesian, but all of us back to nature. And I think so many of you, I can feel the plants here. We're all plant goddesses. So I know you understand this language and you understand this calling. So that's kind of the kernel of my feeling of how can I take that absolute desire to connect humans to nature, which is huge, and how can I make it as specific and accessible as possible. And so actually my business, Ecotone Kauai, it's a newborn baby. I'm just holding her in my arms. And so I am humbled to even be speaking to you about being a businesswoman, because really it's just my step over step figuring things out as I go, as I've said, of marrying my philosophy, my passions, and my skills with something that I want to actually create and share that I think is worthy. Because one of the problems I feel we all face is, like, do we need another book on this planet? Do we need another bottle of plants on this planet? I don't know. So it's how to make sure that what I'm doing has efficacy and is specific and is local. So my business is that I create hydrosols and serums from 100% regeneratively grown, gathered, and distilled plants on Kauai nei. So I don't know if any of you have been here, but of course we have a tourist-based industry, and most of the products that are sold for visitors or in shops or even to local people are imported products. Our milk costs $9 because we don't have our own dairy here. It's ridiculous. So I really wanted to do something very local, because the medicine we need is growing at our feet, right? And so that was the first absolute precept for my business. And I've just grown slowly and gone for the last 3 years in creating the formula and creating the branding and then bottling it, and now sharing it for the first time with the community in the last 4 months. So that's where I am with Ecotone Kauai, and it's fabulous. It's going really well, and I'm being patient, and there's challenges, of course, but I think, coming back to your question, Holly, about authenticity is really a lifelong pursuit, and one worth pursuing, right? Who are you? What do you have to offer? Where are you? What do the people need around you, or what do the plants need around you? How do you serve all those communities? It's more questions than it is answers, and it's questions that every day, yesterday, I had them all going in my mind. Am I staying true to that? Am I being aligned with that? How can I be more aligned to it? And then hopefully the monetary part of this, or the success part, or if that's what you want to call it, that will meet me halfway. But I refuse to compromise that, because the world is just too in need of true healing to do anything less.
Thank you, Kia. That's one of the, your word alignment is key. I have a lot of women talk with me about, how do I have my business in alignment with my own personal values, with my core tenets? And it's a tough one, because it's not a hobby, it's a business. And so you're making money, you're making a living, but you want to do it ethically and purposefully. So it's a challenge for all of us, I think. And I wanted you to dive into what that means to you. So thank you for sharing that. And if anyone wants to check out Ecotone Kauai, please do. I have one of Kia's hydrosols, and it is divine. It's incredible.
And
I use it every day.
To say too, right now I have one hydrosol that I'm offering. In the next 4 months, there'll be 2 more that I'm offering, but that's part of my business model, which is grow slowly. And it's okay. I don't need 16 flavors or varieties. It's like, it's just within this that you can connect to the land. That's right. And it's about being brave enough, I think, to be that focused and that trusting of the plants. It's about trusting the plants for me, and it's about listening to them. So yes, please check it out. You can read the stories. I have a water story, the plant story, and then my own story on the website. It's ecotonekauai.com. And I would love to just hear from all of you, and also get feedback about how it's communicated, because frankly, that's one of the hardest things for me, are the words.
Yeah, another woman that I'm going to interview probably this fall runs what she calls a tiny business. And she's actually written a book on tiny businesses and keeping it small and what that means and the benefits of very conscious small business.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank
Kia.
you. Mahalo.
Mahalo. I want to go next to Annie Gardner. So Annie is an incredible business owner and athlete. She runs Wind Goddess Retreats, and I'll let her describe what that is. There may be many of you who are interested in participating in what she has to offer. Annie also competed in the Olympics in the 80s. And when she and I spoke recently, I interviewed her and we talked quite a bit about the idea of collaboration versus competition for business women. Because we are running businesses, we're just naturally competing with other businesses, but we're also women who come together in community. So how do we collaborate? How do we balance that? So Annie, my question for you is, a huge part of your career has been competition, even at the Olympic level. How did you foster collaboration in your work, even when competing, and how are you building relationships now? So that's your question that I'm throwing at you. And if you would tell us a little bit about yourself too and your business.
Thanks, Holly. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm going to start with that because when you're competing in a sport, you're competing against everybody else. But what I learned early on is some of the sports you have teams, and that's collaborating by all sense of the words. But a lot of the sports that I competed in, well, windsurfing, I was by myself and I competed against other people. And some of those competitors are some of my best friends. In fact, they live in Maui. So, and we're still in touch. So it's a little bit the same, but a little bit different, I would think, with business. I will say that when I started sailing a long, long time ago, and I'm almost 65, I'm almost into the Medicare years now, I was one of the very few women out there. And I think we feel that in business now too, which is why, Holly, you're doing these kind of things, empowering women. And that's something I learned a long time ago that, wow, there aren't, I guess I'm different. You know, I'm doing this thing that nobody else is. So even in my 20s, I started running clinics for women, whether it was windsurfing or catamarans. And even in my 20s, I was doing clinics for big boats for women because we just didn't have opportunities to sail on boats at all. They were all men. And you still see that a lot, but more and more and more there's women. And so we have to help. You know, we have to empower them and give them those opportunities. So I started creating that a long, long time ago, and I've watched it grow. And it's really fun to see the fruits of some of my labors and some of those women to go on and do it as well. What's interesting for me is that it seems like, and Kia, you hit on that, was just how you're at the center of your core, you know who you are. You said that, and I just wrote it down and I'm getting goosebumps saying it because a few years ago, I was doing these charters for women only that somebody asked me to do. And then it was like, wait, this is who I am. Everything led me to this place. And now I'm doing these. I started my own business because I had a mentor say, Annie, why aren't you doing this for yourself? You should be making a lot of these retreats because women will love to come to you. He knew me well and knew my background, and he knew I could handle it. So I've been a captain for 30 years. I've run these clinics, like I said. I've been at the top of my field, whether it was windsurfing, America's Cup. I was in that on the only all women's team. So I've had all this stuff just kind of lead me to this place. And I went, this is what I want to do. And this is what I'm going to do. And it's really working. It's kind of growing, and I'm just going, wow, this is really fun. Does it take a lot of energy? Yes. Is it risky? Yes. I mean, not just in the safety of me taking care of everybody while I'm out there, but also, is anybody going to come? I mean, if anybody's run a clinic, is anybody going to sign up? So, and sometimes I have waiting lists, and sometimes I'm going, oh my gosh. But in terms of competitors in my niche, there aren't that many. So because I am different and I am not the only person that could do this, but there aren't that many women captains that have the confidence that are going to go out and do this, or have the reach. I'm the only one doing it that I know of. But I have had other women captains do like their own charters, and we're friends and we share information. I feel like the world's big enough that I can do my thing, you can do your thing, and we'll share information. As long as she's not in my backyard inviting all my friends to go, I don't have a problem with that. So yes, I think you have to be competitive if you're in business, but the collaboration part of it, it just depends on where you are and what you're selling and what you're trying to do. But I've learned throughout the years that working with people, you always learn something. So as long as they're not stealing your business or doing a hostile takeover, I think we can, as women, we communicate really well, and we can share our ideas and help each other grow and learn. And my retreats is all about having women come together. And as you said, connecting, that connectivity that's so important in our lives as human beings, but women who we love to communicate and to share. And that's one of the first things I say when the women come on the boat for the first time. They don't know each other. Some groups, they bring their own people, but a lot of the times, most of the times, the only person you know is the person you're sharing your cabin with. So the first thing I say, this is going to be a safe place, safe physically, but also more importantly, safe mentally, so you can share what you want here. And I'm always just amazed at the things that come up and the ideas and the sharing of everything. So that's it in a nutshell. I think, work together when you can and share when you can and have that connectivity. Holly, do you have any questions, prompts for me?
No, I think that was great. I think it is exactly what you said at the very beginning. It's tricky, which is one reason I wanted to bring it up. It's something for women to talk about and figure out what works for them and how they want to include other women, other business owners, even competitors, because it's a small world for us and we have to balance that in our work. So thank you, Annie.
You're
Yeah. Again, we're going to have questions, Q&A opportunity after our last guest speaker, who is Anne Marshall. So I've known Anne for a long time. Anne runs an incredible clinic, a wellness clinic with massage and acupuncture called Lifetime Wellness. She's based in Florida and she runs the clinic in Bermuda. And one thing that I've learned from Anne is, in addition to figuring it out on my own, is the value of having support or building a team around you. So I wanted to ask Anne, please introduce yourself and then also talk about how having a team, whether that's a partner in your business or employees or virtual assistants or whatever that might look like, how does that support your business vision and how does that move your goals forward? And that's opposed to doing it all on your own.
Thank you. Thanks, Holly. And I just am so inspired by you getting this network together and so happy to see everyone here and some familiar faces. So my name is Anne Marshall. I'm currently in this moment in Gainesville, Florida, which is where I have a home. I also have lived in Bermuda and have continued to run the wellness business there with my partner. So I'm usually there about 4 months of the year at different times. And so to address your question more specifically, when I first started, I didn't actually want to work with other people. And because I'm an introvert and I like to do things on my own. So that was my thought, I'm just going to do this all on my own. So I did so this would be about over 30 years ago now. And so for the first about 17 years, that's how I ran my business. And I got very tired and realized I couldn't really move forward very well. So at that point, I was only offering service. I was a massage therapist and a cranial sacral therapist. And I also was teaching massage. I did do that on the side. And then when I met my current partner, I had already started studying herbs and began my relationship with the plants and realized that felt like home to me. And so I needed to figure out how I was going to put together all of these thoughts and ideas and, how was I going to do it all? How was I going to be involved with plants? And how was I going to continue to offer my service? Because I'm a very service oriented person. I love to help people. And so I started, because I like to help people, I started my formulations for herbs and mostly extracts, some salves and balms and tonics, and today elderberry syrup. And mostly I started that because someone needed something. And so my clients started coming to me and they started asking me these questions. Well, how can you help me with this? And can you help me with that? And I wanted to be able to, and my family members, I have this going on. Can you help me with this? So I started playing with formulation and putting together a recipe, so to speak, which I still have in this paper file, which everybody in my family says, I can't believe you haven't put this on the computer yet. So I have all these pieces of paper. And anyway, that's just a little aside of kind of who I am. I'm not a real big tech person, which this day and age is an absolute necessity. So I realized that I really needed some support and I needed some help. And so my partner is an acupuncturist and also much more of a techie person than I am. And so we started collaborating to open a business. And this was probably in 2008 or 9. And it was called Lifetime Cafe and Wellness. And it was a coffee and tea shop, herb shop, and also had a room in the back for treatments. So we didn't do that very long. It was during the recession. It actually didn't go that well, honestly. And so we just decided we're going to do this. We're going to Bermuda because my partner's Bermudian. So off we went, we packed up, we moved onto a sailboat because our resources were limited. And we began to build, and we opened the first CrossFit gym in Bermuda. We opened a wellness clinic and started offering services. I started shipping in product that I was making. And it was really wonderful there because the community really, really needed the support. There wasn't much there. Like you said, Kia, that everything is just kind of shipped in, and there wasn't even that much shipped in that could be helpful for people. So it became a really good resource for the community of Bermuda, that felt really good to me. And then, kind of off to the side is this whole part of, well, there's accounting and there's all the bookkeeping and there's, taxes and there's all of the things that I have no interest. And actually, I'm not really very good at, honestly. So I felt like we needed to get some support, some help. So that began hiring other people, some people that just wanted to sort of help out for a while. And then that began, having employees. So right now we have 6 people in our office. We have 2 acupuncturists, 3 massage therapists, and then our kind of office manager who does our books and bookkeeping and that kind of thing. And I realized without all of those people, I would not have been able to move forward into what I saw as my vision of being able to continue to help people, because I would have been way caught up and bogged down in the things that I'm not as good at. So, I feel like when you have support in a business and you have other people working with you, you can move forward so much easier because you all get to do what you're good at. And I think, sorry. See, I'm not very good at this. My phone was off. Why did that happen? So I think it's really important to love what you do. I think it's important for me to love what I do, for you all to love what you do. Life is too short for that not to happen. And when we love what we do, we really do then support the world and the community around us even more. So I'm really happy now that I have a team. I never thought I would say that. I remember probably 25 years ago, my dad saying to me, you really should have a business where you have other people working with you. And, it could be this and it could be that. And, he was a smart business guy. And I said, yeah, but no, that's not me, Dad. I like to do this by myself. And I wish he was here now so that I could talk to him about it. And he saw it become successful. So, I love the people I love my bookkeeper person who goes through every single invoice in the office and catches every single mistake that we make. And to me, that would be just a nightmare to even think about doing. So I love her and she loves doing it. So it's even better. So it's exciting. It's great to have, the other service workers that we have. It's great to be able to teach the plants to not only the people I work with so that they can then support their clients and patients that come in, but also the community that just call and say, I heard that you have these, whatever it is, herbs or plants or supplements. Can I come in and talk to you? And I can say yes, because I have the time that I can do that, or I can at least talk to them right then. Or if somebody walks in, I always make the time. So it's almost essential, I think, to have that support team to be able to be as successful as you can, not necessarily to only be successful. And I think that you can do things on your own, but I think to be as successful as you can and to be happy, that it's really nice to have a support team and friends and family and workers and employees, whatever name they're called. I think they're all important.
Thank you, Anne. I think that's a great point to make, that you want to make sure that you're doing what you love. And if it's not what you love or what you're very good at, bringing on a team member to do it is a really smart move. And that could look like an employee, it could be a virtual assistant, it could be an advisor or a mentor. Mentorships are really valuable. So I think just having people around you in your sphere so that you're not going it alone is super key. So thank you. I want to open it up to questions from everyone. If you have questions for Anne, Annie, or Kia, or me, right now is a great time. We have a few minutes where we can just open it up to whatever you'd like to ask or inquire about.
Looks like we have one question asking Holly, where are you nowadays?
So I'm still in Martha's Vineyard, still trapped on this tiny little island, but enjoying it. And I spent a big chunk of COVID working as an executive leader in nonprofits, and became an executive director, did a lot of finance work, learned about budgeting, learned about cash flow forecasting, strategic planning, which was really important. So I spent my first couple of decades as an entrepreneur, as an herbalist, and I learned about the plants and physiology and anatomy, which was fantastic. And then with this step into nonprofits, a little bit more about the business side and the strategic part of running a business, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit. And now in April, I launched Cell LLC. So I'm getting back into entrepreneurship and realizing that I love herbal medicine, but my real goal is to work with women, especially creative women, innovative women. It's interesting. I learned a lot in the nonprofit world about philosophies and mindset that people in business, like high business, like male patriarchal kind of business, they have one type of mindset. People in the nonprofit world have another mindset, low risk. They don't want to take any risks. They don't want to do anything creative. They just want to follow the books, which is not a bad thing. It's just that's the type of mindset that profession attracts. And having worked at various farmers markets and artisans fairs and working with creative entrepreneurs, I just realized I'm so attracted to this mindset where it's innovative and we're risk takers and we are brainstormers and we like to try out new ideas. So I love that. I'm so attracted to that. But I also see on the flip side of that a lot of us don't have specific business skills that we find ourselves lacking or needing to learn more in order to move our innovative, risk-taking, incredible idea of a business forward. So that's where I'm at right now.
We have another question. Says, hi, Kia, how did you market your product?
Thanks. So I liked what Anne said because it reminded me that's actually one of the ways I started thinking about creating a product, which is responding to my clients. So it was out of my herbal consult business that then I developed and wanted to create a line of hydrosols specific to women and this land. And so at first I was distilling hydrosols and selling them to my clients. And that has been for the past 2 years. But then I really did want to move into a bigger space. And so the first thing I did this spring, once I had the branding completed, which I did on my own, and the packaging and everything finished, I just reached out to the few outlets that I thought would suit the product and match and be a good match. And so I just cold emailed people and introduced myself, offered to send them a full-size sample. And so the products are now at a private spa called Kukui Ula. It's on the South Shore. And they've created a facial around both the serum and the hydrosol. And then at the Ritz-Carlton in Waikiki. And so I have it at now 4 other places that they're testing. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, maybe I can get it to 2 places, and that would be, and if I sell it at a wholesale price, but at a high price to them even. And I explained it. I said, I'm small batch. This is micro batch. This is hand gathered, handmade. Will you pay for it? And they said, yes. So I was able to pay for the entire first branding and everything with the first order. And then I have one other healer wellness Reiki practitioner in New York City who uses it. And then word of mouth in New York City, people of her circle have started to buy it off my website. So I market it through my website. And then I've just reached out to these small wholesale spas or wellness centers that I think would like it. And I've had some no's. I had 2 no's too, and just said, yeah, we would like, we really would like it to be more Hawaiian. So in that way, they have an idea about mango, papaya, and jasmine being the only scents that come from Hawaii. So anyways, that was fine. But that's how I market it. And I need help with it, honestly. I'm not good at it. And my question to all of you, to everyone here, is to what degree do you feel you need social media or Instagram as a marketing tool? Does it work for you? I don't know. And I feel like what a waste, like it's such a hard spend of my time every day to post. And I don't know. I'm just frustrated with that side of it. So if anyone has great words of wisdom about the efficacy of Instagram or success or Facebook and the need, I know that Anne has an amazing Etsy store and for a long time sold on Etsy. I don't know if you still feel that's a great platform, but would love to hear about that.
Yeah, it was a great place to start. And I still have people who now just contact me directly because I just haven't kept it updated with, you have to continually, it's kind of like a social media. If you don't continually do things and change words and punctuation, you just begin to fall down the list. So you don't become a high priority anymore. So you have to spend about an hour a day, just like you would on, I imagine, Facebook and Instagram. I don't even have Facebook or Instagram. So I'm, like I said, it's definitely not my strong point. And I also think I could probably sell a lot more products if I did do those things, but that's just a guess. I don't really know. Etsy certainly got me going, especially in the United States, because there's just so much more available here. In Bermuda, I have more of a kind of a pocket of people that really can't get anything. It's just too hard to ship it in. It has to go through customs. It costs too much money, on and on and on. So kind of like Hawaii, probably. So it's a constant, it's an actual little battle that I have in my brain a lot. You know, should I be doing this? Should I really spend 2 hours a day sitting in front of my computer doing this stuff that, again, I'm not good at? So really, I should probably just have somebody do it for me. But I think it probably would be helpful, but I don't know that.
I just want to hop in and say this is an excellent segue into why a network where we can communicate and ask and discuss these kind of business topics is really needed. And so I want to take just a few minutes and share my screen. One of the reasons that I'm pursuing this path is because I know that women have to work super hard just to make their businesses work. It's been historically true that we just have an uphill battle when it comes to being business owners and founders, especially because the world is so busy right now, like you were just talking about social media, and it takes so much time and effort just to make yourself heard. We've always been shut out of the networks that have appeared for businesses, like the Good Old Boy Network, right? And that leaves us feeling lonely or isolated in our businesses, but especially at a loss for business resources. We have a business vision, and we need to have someone to share that with and brainstorm with. So how can you grow personally and professionally and make your business thrive, increase your revenue, because that's what a business is. We have to make money off of it, and expand your positive impact on the world. How can you do that if you don't connect with others, especially, I've learned, other women entrepreneurs? And it just seems to me that connecting with high achieving women by joining a network specifically for creative entrepreneurs is the most effective way to grow personally and professionally. I am helping bring people together. I've done it with retreats and workshops my whole career, and I'm really reaching a place where I want to do it as its sole purpose, is to bring creative women entrepreneurs together, to communicate, to connect, to build relationships with each other. And I also want to note that this is not part of like a pyramid scheme, or it's not part of some other corporation. I'm not joining another agency. This is all me. This is all me building it from scratch, from the ground up, because it's really important to me. And I've seen over the 3 decades just how much it makes a difference. So I'm starting the Cell Entrepreneur Network. It's for learning, it's for inspiration, it's for lasting connection. And it's something that I feel is truly needed and could be truly fun and warm and welcoming. I think you guys know my vibe. I try to make it as personable as possible, at the same time recognizing that we are business women and we need this to really thrive and make that impact. I have a lot of pictures of me working with people. Some of you are in these pictures. And it's just been the best thing for me, is to connect with other women. And so that's why I'm launching this. It's for creative business women, creative entrepreneurs. So that means it's not exactly the high-tech executive CEO or president of a financial corporation in New York City, right? This is for those of us who are creative. We work with our hands. I know that we've talked a lot about herbalism today because that's where I come from. That's my background, but it's not just for herbalists. It's for painters and sculptors and musicians and yoga teachers and business and wellness coaches, life coaches. It's for anyone who works with your hands or through your heart. It's going to have the opportunity to engage weekly and monthly. So we've scheduled weekly coffees that are casual, informal ways to connect with other women. Monthlies will be a little bit more formal. They're going to go back and forth between guest speakers from national, really inspiring women. And then every other month will be a group coaching opportunity. And if you've never participated in a group coaching experience, it's huge. It's an incredibly powerful way to learn about your business and about other people's businesses, to get questions answered, and really to compare the way you're doing something or your problems to someone else's problems and hear solutions. So it's not a mastermind. It's a group coaching where if you want, you can engage as they call it the hot seat, to get coaching, to get advice, to brainstorm. And then if you're not the person in the hot seat, you listen and you engage and you participate as well. And it's a really powerful way, especially for women, to connect and to learn about business problems and solutions. So it's a membership platform. And that is because I've also learned that a commitment is a really key way to boost yourself professionally. That if you commit to connecting with others, to being part of something, then it makes a huge difference. It's not like Facebook. People on Facebook, you know, you might get a like or you might hear something interesting, but it's not invested people. It's not people for whom it's a purposeful, meaningful connection. So it's normally $39 a month. At the end of this coming week, it'll be $39 a month as a membership. So anyone who's joining now, since it's just launching, will become a founding member, and it's $29 a month. Or if you join annually, you get a free month. And so the year-round price would be $319. And so that's good through this whole week, through July 31st. Starting August 1st, it'll go up to the higher price. And if I know a lot of people have asked me, but what about this? What about that? So one of the questions I've gotten is, yeah, you know, what about Facebook? I'm already on some professional Facebook groups. I hear people asking questions. I see advice. And I want to say that it's not the same as a committed group of women coming together, especially in a network where you know each other and you can communicate with each other, and you have the opportunity to see each other in person, and you get to know each other's businesses, and it's a supportive, invested network. Also, people have asked me, well, maybe it's not so relevant to my business. You know, maybe I make some sort of unique product. And what if nobody else in the network makes that? Is it relevant to me? And I would suggest that you think about it less as product and service based and more as an innovative, brainstorming collective of heart-centered women who are coming together to support each other no matter what you do. I've talked with women who are artists, people who are coaches, people who work with their hands, massage therapists. We've got Annie on here who runs retreats on our catamaran in the ocean. It's a wide variety of experience, and it all fits together as a group, as a collective. And to enhance that, we're creating access circles within the membership so that if you have a certain background or a certain interest or a certain culture that you're coming from and you want to connect with other people specifically in that interest group, then you can within the membership. We want to make it as welcoming as we can. We are also opening up to people to be ambassadors. If you want to be more directly engaged, if you want to host the coffees, if you want to moderate intimate groups, I think this would be especially useful for young people who are entering their careers, give them a chance to hone their leadership skills. So that's an opportunity for people. But regardless, we want everyone in the group to have the engagement and connection that we're striving for. So that's it. You'd become a founding member this week at $29 a month. And we're adding to our portal right now. You'd be able to log in, get all the resources. You'd get discounts to business courses that I'm putting together, and to all sorts of resources, as well as retreat opportunities that are going to start in either March or April of next year that we're working on. So we have a lot planned and we want your feedback. All of our founding members will have an opportunity to help us build this from the ground up and make it everything that you want and need it to be. I'm hoping that that sounds just like the amazing opportunity that we're building it. And hoping that it will become, and we really want you involved with us. We want you as founding members because the whole point is that we're not doing it alone. My whole belief system is that sisterhood will change the world, especially sisterhood in business. And so coming together as creative business women, I think we can make a huge difference. So any questions? Any thoughts? I'm totally open to anything, any feedback. It's brand new. We're starting it from the ground up. I think it's very exciting. Another thing that I want to mention is age, the age of participants. It's a really wonderful thing for women of all ages, adults who are already experienced in their businesses, but also for younger girls, whether they're, 17 or 18, they're just starting out in the world, they think they want to run a business. It's going to be a safe, welcoming, nurturing environment. So if you have friends who have older teenagers, young women who would really benefit from this sort of type of support group, it'll be open to them as well.
2 questions, Holly.
Yeah.
What are the numbers you're thinking of in terms of a first cohort, or how many people do you have, or are you hoping to get, just thinking about that? And then how much time are you thinking not that it would require, but that it would, to be a member, what's the time commitment?
Great question. So we don't have any members yet. It's launching right now. You on this call, as well as anyone else who joins this week, would be our very first founding members. I'm hoping that by next spring we hit 1,000. That's my goal. So 1,000 creative women from around the country. It'll be a national online network. And then as far as time commitment, we're definitely going to record everything, and so nobody is required to be at anything, but we are going to organize weeklies, so weekly coffees that would last an hour, very casual, and then a monthly more formal gathering that would also be an hour.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
In terms of that recording, I heard it was being recorded. Will it be available to send as a link to somebody, or is there somewhere to direct them to, so in case they couldn't be here, they could see it?
Definitely. So Brianna is recording it, and she's going to send out, she and Robin will send out an email with the link once it's ready to all of you and to everyone else who registered, but they weren't able to make it today. And then we'll also put it on the website so people can go to the website and see it and watch it there and get some questions answered.
Wonderful.
Any other questions, thoughts, questions for our guest speakers? Yeah, Elizabeth, hi.
Hi, Holly. So good to see you, and I'm really grateful to be here and be inspired. I'm curious, do you foresee, and if you already shared this, it just is a lot to take in, but will there be a platform for the tribe, so to speak, to gather in between meetings? And do you see using something other than Facebook? I'm curious about that component of connecting.
Yes, definitely. So we're using a website platform called Kajabi, and it's specific for memberships. And it does have a way on there to connect on the portal at any time. People are encouraged to post activities, to post questions, pictures, information. It'll have a member network, a directory as well, so that everybody's encouraged to share about their own business so that we can learn about what you're doing. And then we'll also have a Facebook group. So there are some people who don't want to be on Facebook, they'd rather be in the portal, vice versa. So we'll have both options available.
Thank you. That sounds good. One more comment question, because I'm sure we're coming to closure. I think one of the things that I have been faced with throughout all the decades I've been self-employed is that balance between self-care and being of service to your people you're servicing, as well as to your business. And I sense that that's something that will be addressed, as well as the actual nuts and bolts of the business.
Yes, a lot of topics like that. Sales, self-care, confidence, everything you can think of that goes into running a business. There's so many different topics to discuss and explore. So I'm searching for guest speakers that can meet with us to address some of these topics. And then I would hope that in the portal, you know, we'll create opportunities for these discussions just among ourselves as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, if there aren't any more questions, I am going to wrap it up and say thank you to everyone. Annie, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to hit on that social media subject that was brought up a little bit earlier, because my daughter took a group of women out on our catamaran just about a week ago, and she's gone, Mom, if you were doing the social media right, you would just be making so much money. And she's 32 and they know how to do it. And I don't have a clue how to do that, but I was curious about what other people thought about that. With Instagram, I guess, is the big thing. And then there's TikTok, which I know nothing about. I finally went on Instagram because I thought my daughter won't do Facebook. They think it's for old people now, but I've gotten a lot of business through Facebook. I mean, most of my stuff has come through Facebook by me just putting it out there, and then the word goes. But I know that then the YouTube and having a channel, people are saying, oh gosh, you should have a channel, because somebody did a show about me and my husband on their YouTube channel, and it opened the floodgates. People were like, they're still writing me and asking me, when are you going to do the next retreat? So I'm just really curious about that. And I feel like, Anne, like, this is not my expertise. I'm good at telling stories. I had a blog when we were traveling around the world on our boat before I started all this. But when it comes to that, I'm just so blown away at how much money people are making by YouTube channels and Instagram. So does anybody have experience with that? Raise your hand. Nobody? I don't. So I guess I need a 30-year-old. Go ahead.
I can speak a little bit just with mostly clients I've worked with. I'm a business coach, and the around marketing with social media, it really gets back down to what was brought up earlier of what kind of business do you want to be? How do you want to engage in the world? Do you want to be a tiny business? Do you want to be a big business? You can absolutely choose one platform and stay on one platform and just do it well and not try to spread yourself thin on a lot of platforms. The more somebody promises you that you can put something out and you'll go viral, and that's what gets you there, it's really more of a crapshoot than most people are willing to admit. Marketing experts who are honest will tell you that it can happen. Some of the best ways to utilize social media, especially for those of you who are operating with both of you two that brought that up, is utilize other people's social media platforms that have followings. So you don't have to build your own. You just have to find people who will promote you and who will engage for you online. Like maybe they want to, you can contact influencers and work with them in some manner. Some of them can do trades. Some of them, of course, get paid, but you don't necessarily have to do the work. And then, of course, there's the last answer to that question could always be, that's one of your hire outs, like what Anna was talking about. If you hate doing it, you really don't want to do it, but you feel like it's your path forward, find somebody who's really good who will do it for you and really knows how to tap into algorithms and how to work the social media game, so to speak. So there's not a simple good answer for it. I wish I really did have that, but I've seen it work in various ways for different clients and however they put themselves out there, and getting kind of trapped in the I have to, I think, can become overwhelming and not actually ultimately helpful. It's like, find the path that works for you and then move forward in that direction. And it sounds like, especially for you, Annie, that like, just find more people to put you out there. like, and that's perfectly okay. And it's perfectly fine to find somebody who has influence on social media that will promote you or engage, do interviews, do podcast interviews. Actually, if you can get on, submit for podcast, being guest on podcasts. Podcasters are always looking for people to interview. It's a great way to get your name out there.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Thank you. That does help. I like that idea of the podcast.
I agree. Thank you, Holly. And good to see you, by the way. I met Holly when she was Holly McClanahan like 30 years ago. But yes, excellent advice, especially about the podcasting. Podcasting is just huge right now. And rather than set up your own podcast, become a guest on others and your name will get widely renowned because people listen to podcasts like crazy these days, and they're on every topic you can imagine. So if you're trying to expand your outreach, that's an excellent way to go. But we are past 3 o'clock and I don't want to take up much more of your afternoon, or Kia, in your case, your morning. So thank you all so much. I'm so excited that you're here and really thrilled, and so good to see so many familiar faces again. And really, if you're interested in joining this network and being part of this moving forward, go to, let's see, it's thecellnetwork.com. And we'll get you set up. I'm excited to move this forward. I have a really great vision for it, and just really want to see you all participate and help me grow it as best we can. So thank you.